Going on, guys? It's Steve. This nonsense has to stop immediately. It's simply just not fair that LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love, all three of them, can sit down when a game is played on national TV. That's simply just not fair. There needs to be a new rule to where you're not allowed to rest during, how do I say this? Like, you're not allowed to rest when you play against another big star player. The reason for that is because people want to see those games. Like, if LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love rested against the bum Orlando Magic, I wouldn't care. Okay? But against the Clippers, against the Knicks, against the Spurs, against the Rockets, against the, whatever team, the Thunder even, if there's a big matchup that people are waiting to see, that should not be allowed because fans rarely get to see LeBron in person. Me, I've only seen LeBron James play in person a few times because one, tickets were so expensive to see him play against Carmelo Anthony because I'm from New York City and Knicks tickets are expensive anyway. And two, he doesn't play there all the time. He probably plays there like once or twice a year, so it's not even fair. And then on top of that, the game was nationally televised. Could you imagine how ABC feels? Could you imagine how ESPN would feel? Or, like these channels are paying the NBA to have these big games, okay? But they don't even get the return because the stars decide to rest during that period, which makes no sense at all. Now, I know I'm not going to be able to make any videos without addressing why I missed 3 days. Listen, those are 3 days out of probably over 250 days that I've been, probably longer than that, 300 days that I've uploaded twice a day. Honestly, I have an excuse, but I also don't. I just needed a break, I needed a break. That's the excuse. And then on top of that, my car was destroyed, so it's like I hit a wall. I was like, okay, I know I need to upload, and I love uploading, but at the same time, I was like trying to focus on getting another car and all this other crap, and just a whole bunch of things were going on. I'll make a bigger video talking about it, probably at next Saturday. I'll talk because there's more to it about why I did what I did. There's more to it, but I promise I'll let you guys know then. And by the way, thank you for everyone that actually came back to the channel and were like asking. There were like at least 20 of you guys that were commenting on multiple videos like, Steve, what's going on? I appreciate that, man. I do. Anyway, this needs to stop, okay? You should not be allowed to rest on a big nationally televised game like this. Never. If you have a matchup on ESPN, ABC, or NBA TV, like Fan Night and things like that, you should not be allowed to, rest, because think about how many people want to see, because usually those type of games are usually like LeBron versus Melo, LeBron versus KD, Kyrie versus Curry, Harden versus Westbrook, Harden versus Klay Thompson. No, not Klay Thompson. He's not even in this league. Harden versus Kevin Durant, Kawhi versus KD, Kawhi versus LeBron, things like that. Kawhi versus Melo, like those games are usually, even Paul George is in that mix because people like watching him, which is why he has his own sneaker. Even Jimmy Butler as well. If you have a big game that's on national TV, it does not make sense that you should be allowed to sit out because one, all of these fans are watching these games. Two, people are paying a lot of money to see these matchups. Could you imagine being 10 years old? I remember the first time I saw LeBron versus Melo back in 2014. That was the first time I ever saw LeBron play in person. I could not imagine. I cried when I got those tickets because how old was I? I was 2014. I was like 16 years old, about to turn, 16. And I opened and I had tickets. It said Knicks versus Cavs, Madison Square Garden. And I started crying. I was so excited. Okay? And if I would have gotten there and LeBron, Wade, and Bosh would be sitting out, I would have been like, what the hell? I would have been really upset. My parents would have been upset. My grandparents would have been upset because I go with my grandfather. He's a Knicks fan as well. A whole bunch of stuff just wouldn't have been fair. And to be honest, it doesn't even make sense that they rest these big games because the big games are the games that you want to win because it's a confidence giver. Now, there's also the argument, oh, well, they're more intense, so it takes more strain on the body. I understand that. but you want to win those games. Okay, you don't want to be losing games that you could probably win if you play your star players. Now, on top of that, let's say the Cavaliers rested their big three against the Orlando Magic. Which team do they have a higher chance of beating without their big three? The Orlando Magic or the Los Angeles Clippers? You get the point, So to me, it doesn't even make sense that they're resting these big games because these are must-win games. Cleveland doesn't have that big of a gap between the number 1 and 2 seed. Now, that obviously doesn't matter because Cleveland could come in 8th seed and just wipe everyone out. That's how good LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love, and their supporting cast are. But it's just it's not fair for the fans, man. It's not fair for the fans. A lot of young children that dream to see LeBron play in person, that dream to see Kyrie play in person, Stephen Curry, etc., etc. Okay, so they should not be allowed to sit out huge games. Again, if they're playing a bum team like the Sacramento Kings, if they're playing a bum team like the Orlando Magic, I know what you guys are going to say. Oh, well, the New York Knicks are a bum team.